Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. Episode number 4 of The Mandalorian just dropped yesterday, and it keeps getting better and better. In this video, we're going to break down and review each epic scene, so let's get hyped, and let's jump into the video. Episode number 4 of The Mandalorian is aptly titled Sanctuary, because it's something that Baby Yoda and The Mandalorian both need, considering that The Mandalorian has broken his contract with the Empire and the Bounty Hunters Guild. After the twists and intense action of Episode 3 last week, Sanctuary, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, opts for a more heartfelt affair focusing on a single subplot, introducing us to the tranquil fishing village of the backwater planet Sorgon. We are introduced to the beautiful Omira, played by Julia Jones, and her daughter Winta, who are peacefully fishing for a krill for all about 60 seconds until a bunch of Klatooinian raiders sack their village. Omira's quick thinking to hide her and her child from the raiders immediately set off my spidey senses, and that we were in for a treat, and we're finally being introduced to one of the strong female characters of the series. Not only does this scene showcase her potential as a secret badass, but it also showcases the bond between a parent and the child. One of the things I also really loved about this episode was the tender moments and the growing bond between the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. One of the cutest moments in the episode is when the Mandalorian puts Baby Yoda on his lap after he messes around with a bunch of buttons on the Razor Crest. Stop touching things and are you ready to lay low for a couple of months, you little womp rat, is totally something that a dad would say.
You ready to lay low and stretch your legs for a couple of months, you little womp rat? Nobody's gonna find us here.
It seems like there's a nice comfortable vibe between the two characters, and honestly there's really no other option as they're evading the Empire and Bounty Hunters as well. Next we see the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda land on Sorgon as they need to find some lodging. This is where we finally meet Cara Dune, who is played by Gina Carano, as the Mandalorian scouts the area for hostiles. The fight scenes have continued to be impressive throughout the first 4 episodes of The Mandalorian, and this one delivers as well as we see Gina Carano display her impressive MMA background for all to see. While the fight scene was awesome, this actually features one of my favorite moments of the episode, when Baby Yoda is watching them fight and he's slurping some soup. This episode also continued to deliver on enriching the series with more Star Wars lore. We hear Cara tell the Mandalorian that she was a former rebel shock trooper who saw a ton of action in the Battle of Endor. I really love that this episode showcased the strong opinions that each character has about war, and we see that even the Outer Rim and the far reaches of the galaxy have been affected by everything that has happened in the Star Wars universe. We hear Cara also reveal that most of her service to the Alliance came after the battle, hunting down Imperial warlords. We haven't met Moff Gideon yet, who will be played by Giancarlo Esposito, but with only 4 episodes left in Season 1, we have to think that there's a strong possibility we can see him in the next episode. But it's clear both the Mandalorian and Cara have lots in common, which is why before the Mandalorian moves on from Sorgon, he offers Cara a deal after he is approached by the farmers to protect their village.
Ready for round 2?
Now, when the Mandalorian sets into his lodging at the village on Sorgon may have been my favorite part of the episode for a few different reasons. Firstly, we see him let his guard down in front of Omira's child Winta when she asks to play with Baby Yoda. This showcases even more of the tender side of the Mandalorian. Secondly, we find out that the Mandalorian hasn't taken off his helmet in front of anyone else since he was a child, after he was saved by the Mandalorians. So this tells us that the Mandalorian wasn't a Mandalorian by birth. And third, we see him take off his helmet after Omira makes him a meal in front of the children while they're playing with Baby Yoda. I think this foreshadows the possibility of him taking off his helmet by the end of the season, or perhaps at some point in the future. I think it's important to point out that he did clarify when a Mandalorian takes off their helmet in front of someone else, they can never put it back on. And I have to wonder, with such a handsome guy such as Pedro Pascal and such a great actor, if we might be seeing that at some point in the future. I do like the idea of the final episode of the series of the Mandalorian retiring on Sorgon, in the final episode taking off his helmet and retiring with Omira and Baby Yoda as well. We next find out the contract to fight the Klatooinian raiders actually was with a caveat, after Cara and the Mandalorian find the tracks of an ATST, or an all-terrain scout transport. We see that the Mandalorian and Kara have to step in by imparting their knowledge on the villagers because they don't know how to fight, which actually reveals that only one of them knows how to shoot a gun, which actually turns out to be Omira. I have my suspicions that this isn't the only episode we will see this character, and there's a greater story that will ultimately connect her and the Mandalorian, which will further strengthen their bond. I can't help but think that this fight scene with the AT-ST and the Raiders was actually inspired by Jurassic Park and the classic T-Rex scene that we get in the first movie. In my opinion, this scene wasn't as epic as the one we saw in episode 3 with the Mandalorians and the jetpacks and them saving the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, but it's clear that the series will have moments where we see more of the fellowship between characters, balanced with the intense action and space battles that we've come to love with Star Wars. It's clear that this village would be the perfect place for not only Baby Yoda, but the Mandalorian to settle down to live their lives in peace. But of course, we have the bounty hunters show up with the fob to kill Baby Yoda, which means they have to say their goodbyes in another heartstring-tugging scene. However, it's clear that this isn't the last we've seen of Omira and also Cara Dune, as danger continues to find them in the galaxy as long as the Empire and rogue factions continue to oppress parts of the galaxy like Sorgon. Overall, I really enjoyed the episode, and while I enjoyed episode 3 just a bit more, I'm very much enjoying the pace of the show and the journey it's taking us on. I will be dropping an Easter egg video tomorrow discussing more of episode 4, The Sanctuary, at length, but what I really want to know is what you thought of the episode and what your favorite moments were. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and let's chat more Star Wars. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. I actually have a nice organized playlist of Mandalorian videos and Star Wars content on the channel. So if you want to check that out, you can find the link to my other Star Wars content in the description of this video.
I have spoken.